Hello, and welcome to the TheKnitGirlls. This is episode 426. I'm Laura, also known as Lola.
I'm Leslie, also known as You Don't Call Me Les. Today is Tuesday, February the 5th, 2019. I don't know if the Groundhog came out or not.
Wait, I do know this. That happened like last Friday.
It's Saturday, yeah.
Or Saturday. So whatever he always does, he did the opposite. So it's supposed to be spring earlier this year.
There's a tradition in the U.S. I don't know if it's in other countries or not.
It's in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania.
Where I don't know the origin of this, although I'm sure someone will, and they'll put it in the episode thread, but on the 2nd of February, it's called Groundhog Day, and the groundhog comes out of his little burrow.
They gotta lift him by the back of his neck. It's not by choice.
Phil. And
in my head, he's wearing a top hat.
If he sees his shadow, then there's 6 more weeks of winter.
He did not see his shadow then.
Okay. So that means we're in for spring.
It feels like it here.
A rodent in a special town in Pennsylvania said so.
There you go. You know, Groundhog Day is one of my favorite films, though. Have you ever seen that?
Oh, yeah. Bill Murray was brilliant.
We need to rewatch that, maybe this weekend. That's a good one.
There's a show on Netflix that I've started watching that's kind of similar to that, called Russian Doll, and it's got one of the ladies from Orange is the New Black in it, and I'm only a couple episodes in, so I don't really know where it's going yet, but it's the same general concept.
Where a day repeats.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a kid's book that's really good by Wendy Mass called 11 Birthdays, where it's 2 best friends, a boy and a girl, and they've always celebrated their birthday together, but they had a horrible fight after their 10th birthday, and so they have to repeat their 11th birthday over and over again until they get it straightened out. It's cute. I like Wendy Mass. She's a good author. Anyway, I'm knitting. You're knitting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the middle of a row.
You're always in the middle of a row.
But give me a second, and it's going to take more than a second.
I'll go, because like I said, I'm always in the middle of a row.
Yeah, but I want you to get through your lace.
It's fine.
Okay.
So, I'm knitting the same thing I've been knitting for a month.
But you're almost done. The end's in sight, right?
I wouldn't say that. I would say I am like 5/8 done, because I've got another 4 inches on the body, and then the sleeves.
But the sleeves are all knitting around, right?
This is true, yes.
I think they'll go fast for you.
And I think I'll just do 3/4 sleeves. I don't think I'm going to do the full wrist
So for
length.
you, that's like 7 inches of sleeve, right?
It's more like 13, but yeah.
Okay. I thought we had measured.
That
like,
was
from
to
there to
elbow.
Oh, okay. I gotcha.
So yeah, 1 week I made like 5 inches of progress, and then the last 2 weeks I've made about 4 inches of progress a week. It's technically it's in the round, but it's in tarja, so you're knitting flat constantly. So half of the time I'm knitting and half of the time I'm purling. I don't purl. I knit backwards, just because I can't get an even gauge otherwise.
With your pearls.
With my pearls, yeah, they're significantly larger than my knits. So yeah, this is it. This is The Wrought Iron by Anna Johanna.
That rhymes.
It does, and you've mentioned that before.
Oh, have I?
Yeah.
I'm teaching to the little girl that I tutor Tuesday afternoons after school. We're in a poetry unit, so she's studying like poetry terms at school. So we're doing some poetry revisiting. So today we did a lot of Shel Silverstein.
Yeah.
But as we read, we look for like rhyme schemes, onomatopoeia, yeah, stuff like that. Repetition, which is like every TheKnitGirll's episode.
Mostly, yeah. This is knit out of 2 colors of Knitter's Nightmare by Sadie. She's not dying right now. She's doing more important stuff like taking care of a newborn.
At what point do babies not become newborn? At like 6 months?
You know, I don't know, because
1 year?
Some people refer to their kids, like their 3-year-olds, as 34 months old.
Oh,
So
that's like math.
I don't know. And I'm not saying that's wrong. You do you.
I just couldn't do the math to keep up with months.
I'm not sure what the rule... I don't know what the rule is. Or if there is a rule.
Well, I think newborn, like, don't they do, like, 3-month size clothing? So wouldn't it be under 3 months?
In clothing sizes, yeah, it's like 0 to 3.
Okay.
It would be considered newborn, but I don't know.
I'm prolonging this conversation.
I know
so
you
I can
are.
get to the end of the row.
That's been made very clear.
That wasn't that subtle?
No, dear, you're not so subtle. You've got to be warm though with all that alpaca.
It's quite warm upstairs. I would say it's around 85 degrees up here.
It's never the right temperature. It's always freezing or hot.
We're in a room that's over Leslie's garage, so
and the door stays closed, so it doesn't get a lot of circulation of air. I mean, there's
this
vents,
room does,
but
yeah.
I don't like animals in here, so this door stays closed.
Hey, I just found 2 errors in the shawl, and I'm totally not ripping back.
Your errors, not pattern errors.
No, yeah, definitely.
Can you see that?
Mm-hmm. And there's one. I decided blues didn't have to be pearled, apparently.
The stripe breaks it up, so you wouldn't even notice.
Okay, so I'm knitting on 2 things. I am working on, this is the Hudson shawl. It is Broco Alpaca Chunky, except for that green. That green is actually Knitpicks. Knitpicks Wool of the Andes Superwash Bulky in the Bamboo Heather colorway. Because I didn't have a third contrast color. I thought it only needed 2 because I can't read patterns or look at pictures correctly. Also, I didn't think this purple stripe happened again, and then I read the pattern and I was like, oh yes it does. So it is being knit from the top down. I would say I'm around 1/3 in. It gets, after this last purple stripe, it gets some lace. Like about this length and lace again. And then it gets an attached, one more stripe, and then attached edging. So, and most of this on Saturday. And I have a progress keeper on here from, oh, it's so cute.
Tilting Planet.
The sparkly stars. You guys see it? Because at the beginning they had you put a progress keeper, but now it's a mix of garter and stockinette, so it's pretty easy to tell which is the right side at this point. I'm just leaving it there. And this is living in my chicken boots giant bag, which suits it well because I have 3 skeins of this color of the chunky, 2 of the blue, and then 1 of the purple. And I only needed like 25 yards of the green, which is why I probably forgot about it. I like that color green with it. There were lots of choices and discussions at my house the other night. And I'm knitting these on the Licka needles.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's how people are pronouncing them. I'm terrible at pronunciation. One of my coworkers was talking about reading, and she's talking about a kid, and she was like, yeah, I could tell that she couldn't tell when there's an E at the end of a word that it's a long vowel sound. And I was like, that is totally new. I never realized that either. So any word that's got in English that's got an E on the end has a long vowel sound.
I suddenly cannot think of a single word.
With an E on the end?
Love.
Love. It's the long vowel sound. See, I don't even know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought, like in this case with the O, it would be an O.
Move.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I don't know. Anyway, that was the rule. Maybe I got the rule that she told me.
Teacher of the year right here.
I think I'm going to phonetics training this summer for a week. So it's in Oxford, so I'll be driving back to Oxford for a week. But I think that's what I'm going to end up doing, just because I'm not good at phonetics.
Well, I mean, you're battling your own issues there. So.
Well, I am battling my own issues there. But also, like, the grades that I work with, phonics are not usually... Phonics are already...
They've already been taught and established.
But sometimes not so much.
Right.
So, I am one of those remediation kids. I'm not saying that, like, in a... like, legit. I had to go to summer school when I was growing up. So, I am that remediation child, so I totally understand, and that's why I relate with those kids so well. Because the struggle happens sometimes for me. Anyway, this is a pretty shawl, and I'm enjoying it immensely. I'm also working on, I'm trying to think if I missed any part of that. So that's on size 10 needles. I'm also working on other things that you cannot see. I swatched. So I swatched for the quarry. You can really tell that it's 3 strands because
Yeah, they fuzzed out a little.
they came apart in the wash. Which is fine. But this is the reason why I'm not going to use this for seaming. Also, I'm not going to use this for seaming because that. So I specifically picked a sweater that does not require any seaming at all. Well, I haven't picked a sweater yet, but I did swatch. So I'm going to go based on gauge, which of the 3 sweaters to knit. I haven't measured either.
Oh, I was like, well, what gauge did you get?
I don't know. It's a mystery. I'll have to get out my AcreWorks gauge thing and measure. But this was knit on size 8s. And one thing, I was watching a Craftsy class with Amy Herzog, and one thing when she was talking about swatching, she was like, well, try to stick your finger through it. Like, hold it up to the light so you can really see the empty spaces. So I can see where there's emptiness. If I hold it straight up to you guys, you can probably, because there's probably light shining through, maybe. So hold it up to the light, see the empty spaces, and then try to separate it and like put your finger through to see if your finger would fit. Because if in that case, it might be too large of a gauge. Yeah, too loose. But I like this. I like the feel of it. I made Leslie feel it. It's a nice squishy fabric.
She keeps making me stop knitting.
Well, there's that
Yeah,
too.
it's kind of a sweatshirt fabric.
Yeah. So whatever I knit, I'm going to be happy with it.
It does, because of the fuzz, you will encounter issues with like stitch definition if you had like cables that you wanted to pop or something. This may not be the yarn for that.
Well, it is more anything that's woolen spun. The cables are not gonna pop. Right. And the same with color work. It looks more like a watercolor than it would if I was using like chalk pastels or something.
Soft though.
But yeah, it is nice and soft and squishy. And then I did have socks. Oh, if they were a snake, they would have bit me. So I started my next pair of Desert Vista Dye Works socks. If you're on Instagram, I was knitting these in the car wash yesterday. My car did not get cleaned in the car wash either. My car was so dirty, I ran it through the car wash, and it just kind of created mud on top of my car because it was so dirty. So it's going back to it rained today, so I didn't run it through twice. I'll run it through again when it's nicer. But these are the Strawberry Shortcake colorway. This is the Strawberry Shortcake colorway of Desert Vista Dye Works. And I'm knitting these. I'm doing Wendy Johnson's gusset heel out of a pair of toe-up socks. So
I'm gonna go adjust the temperature because
it is very warm up here, and I'm knitting this on size 0s. I do have a finished object, so I'm going to continue as Leslie abandons me. I have my last month's Desert Vista Dye Works socks. I told you. What temperature? Didn't I say it was like 80? Yes. So these are my last pair of Desert Vista Dye Works socks with the gusset, the Wendy Johnson gusset heel. These are in the Bed Knobs and Broomsticks colorway. I have them on my Knitting Left Harry Potter blockers. I haven't tried them on yet. They're for my mom, who's a little bit of a smaller foot than me, so we'll see how it goes.
It's more
narrow. She's gonna be here Tuesday night. She's coming, and she's bringing you lots of English muffins. She already
I'm on my last bag.
Well, you have a bag at my house.
I've been stretching them out.
So you have a bag at my house, but I took a set out last night because I was like, well, Mom's bringing more next week, so I can eat these.
So she comes Tuesday, but we don't leave until Thursday, right?
That's true.
Okay. I just want to make sure that I had it right.
Yeah, they're coming Tuesday after my father's
physical therapy or something.
It's either PT or doctor's appointment for his knee replacement, and so they'll be here like Tuesday night later, and then Wednesday. Mom said she wanted some hangout time with us, so she'll come for knit night she'll be there and hang out for Knit Night Wednesday. And I have chores for them to do Wednesday morning.
Of course you do.
Because that's my life. I'm so spoiled. So Desert Vista Dye Works, this was my January pair. February's on the needles already. Those will be going with me to... The February pair will be going with me to Madrona as my, like, plain knitting. Where was I? I was on this side. That's it for me for finished objects. I have spinning, though. Do you have anything to share?
I was just thinking, you mentioned plain knitting, and it made me think of this example of bias that I read somewhere.
Uh-huh.
And it's really simple, actually. You know, people like to think that they have no bias towards, you know, race or gender or sexuality or whatever. But the exercise is, picture yourself on a plane.
Okay.
And you're on that plane, and you have one empty seat beside you.
Okay.
People are coming on, and it's like a Southwest flight, so people can pick any seat.
Yeah.
And you start looking at people, and you say, and you, in your head, you're thinking, not you, not you, not you.
Gotcha.
And whoever you're not youing, you have an unconscious bias towards something
can see
about
that.
that person.
When I'm knitting, most people don't sit next to me on flights.
Really?
Yeah. Like, if I get on a Southwest flight and I start knitting, I guess because I'm taking up more space,
Maybe.
I usually don't get a seat partner. Unless the plane's completely full.
Yeah.
Also, I'm not a small person.
I'm not a small person either.
But I do shower.
I was just thinking about the flight out to Madrona, and me and you and your mom. Your mom's going to have to middle seat it. Because she's she's very tall.
Wheezy's suggestion was we each get an aisle seat within, like, a range of each other.
Yeah. That's smart.
So that's what he was suggesting. So we can still talk,
That's smart.
but all be comfortable in aisle seats. We'll have to see if we can make that happen. I think Mom's boarding, like, 18th group.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, we paid for the early boarding so
Yeah.
we could save a seat or whatever, but anyway. That's not important. You've spun.
I have spun. I finished, so last week I showed 2 bobbins of Lorna's laces. They're generic wool fiber that came in 10-ounce braids forever ago. I think I bought this back in 2009. And I finished it, but I still have, like, an ounce, I would say, to ply and spin. Like, I have a little bit of fiber still left to spin, so it's probably 9 ounces. I don't have a scale, but it's
Needy.
hefty. Yeah. It weighs more than 8 ounces, I feel like. I can do that by going like this.
Yeah. We need a luggage scale.
It's very scientific. Well, I have a big scale at home. I just haven't done anything. It's still kind of wet in the middle, and I washed this like 4 days ago and hung it to dry. It's been super humid and damp in Mississippi. I'm like 65 degrees, so my kids think it's spring. Life is going to kick them in the face pretty soon because it's going back down to 30 on Friday. And that's unhappiness. But actually Thursday night, I think. So this is around 800 yards of a 2-ply. I do have plans for this. I have a shawl by Nim Teasdale that I want to knit. It might not happen this month. We'll have to see how much knitting time I get. It might be good plain knitting, though. So, I'll have to... Because what I like to do when I travel is I like to take 2 projects. At least. I like to take...
I was like, you're a dirty liar if you just you stop right there.
But I feel like... So, the time on the flight is 6 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's 12 hours total. That's a pair of socks almost right there.
Assuming that you constantly knit.
Yeah. I mean,
you're
there
not
is
dicking around on your phone.
Well, but I'm not paying for Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
So, my time spent on my phone
But can
will
you
be...
save babies without Wi-Fi?
I can! I can also play Fairway Solitaire without Wi-Fi. So, I might wind this and bring it with me to start on that shawl as well. I haven't decided yet. We'll see how much progress on this shawl gets made. I'd like to finish this shawl by the 10th, so it counts for Quidditch. But if I don't, then it won't count for Quidditch. It'll count for a class as well, which is why I didn't cast it until the 1st of this month.
I think it's doable to do it by the 10th.
I think so, too. I would say it's around a third done. And really, I've only worked on it for, I would say, 6 hours. So I think it's totally doable. I think it's doable to get it done this weekend for sure. I have knit night tomorrow, so I can work on it then. Or I could spin, whichever. I have Thursday night, my Teacher of the Year thing, which is from like 5 until 7 or 8.
But that's pretty large to take with you.
Yeah, this will not be. And I don't know that knitting is... I knit a lot at school functions, but I don't know that knitting is going to be a socially acceptable. It's kind of fancy. I'm going to have to leave my backpack at home.
Thank Bob.
Leslie makes fun
Every
of me.
time we go to a restaurant, her backpack needs its own seat.
It does. It's very fancy. But I keep stuff in it for work all the time, so...
I mean, she's always got whatever I need in there. But...
Except not a car phone charger the other day. I had the like charger part, and I had a battery pack that had junked out on me. But I did not have the actual physical car charger because mine lives in my car.
Yeah.
Meh. But I had everything else. I had baby wipes. I didn't have a fan either because I put a fan back in there. I had taken out my fan and left it at work.
Oh, for the reading thing?
Yeah. So we went to an awesome, we're kind of jumping into what we're reading, but we went to an awesome book signing Friday night for the author of Six of Crows.
Lee Bardugo.
Yeah, and she was really, really great. But what was not great was there was a room that was meant for maybe 50 people, and they easily crammed 100 and some people in there. It was way more. And you had to buy a book to go to this event.
So they knew how many people were coming.
But I guess they had a lot of parents because these are YA, not middle grade. They are YA, young adult books. So they had teenagers who brought, had some kind of chaperone with them. And although there weren't like a ton of teens, it was mostly, I would say, 18 to 20 somethings. Because we went to Oxford, so it's a college town. It's where Ole Miss is, the University of Mississippi. And there were over 100 people there, and I was basically sitting on Leslie's lap, which was delightful. And the room was way too crowded, and there was a point where I turned to her and said, if there's a fire, we're all going to die, because they had blocked every exit with chairs and people sitting in those chairs. And like legit, if there had been some kind of disaster, that would not have been good. And I was telling this story to Weezy, and he was like, so next time you should get one of those chairs by the door. Like, which is logical if you're in an overpacked room, but not super
not the point, Weez.
Not super awesome in general. But it was a really, really good book signing. She did a Q&A type session where she picked questions from the audience, which can kind of be like a junk.
I feel like a lot of the questions she probably gets all the time, which I understand, right? Like a lot of aspiring writers go to book signings, and so they have a lot of questions about the process and all that she uses when she and
then she's also got a huge fan base of people who like cosplay her characters and stuff too. So there were a lot of like kissing book type questions, like why did this character get together with this character and not this character? But I think the best one, or the one that stood out to me the most, was two of the characters in these books are male, and they do have a romantic relationship. And this young man said, this is kind of the first time where I could see myself in a book. And I want to thank you so much for that. That was really, really cool.
Yeah.
So, and then she talked a little bit about how she writes to represent her real life.
But she's a disabled person.
And
because of that, it just naturally involves inclusion.
Yeah.
And
which was really, really...
Yeah, she wants to write similar to her life and the people she surrounds herself with.
And fantasy as a genre, because she writes fantasy books, tends to be more all of the same.
Yeah.
You see a lot of strong male characters. You have to save weak female characters who magically fall in love with them.
Or strong female characters who suddenly become stupid around that particular man, or what have you.
Or hide their abilities sometimes. But it's mostly, in the past, it was mostly a male-dominated field to a white male-dominated field, which is changing, which is amazing, too.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's still predominantly a white... the protagonists that are presented are still predominantly white, but it is moving.
Children of Blood and Bone came out this past year, and has a sequel that's coming out as well. That's,
On the Come Up came out today.
I know. I'm well aware. Super excited about it. That is not fantasy, though.
No.
That's realistic fiction. So.
Okay, so on the topic of books.
Other books.
I'm re-listening to the TheKnitGirlls series. I'm on the 7th book. Magic something. Breaks, maybe? I can't remember. It's the one after where they go to get the panacea overseas, and they're back.
Oh, that's my least favorite one, where they go overseas.
Yeah, I just finished that.
I'm not going to do any spoilers, but that is by far, I think, my least favorite.
With that character that died?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also because it's leaving all the world building that we've seen previous to that is being left behind.
And I feel like the two, clans that are fighting for the child are so similar that I couldn't tell you the differences between them. Just because I'm not invested in them at all, because they'll never be in another book, so I don't care. Anyway, what about you? What have you been reading or listening to?
I have been listening to the 4th Kate Daniels book, which I kind of put down, but at work I've been processing and getting out a lot of new books, and I can't listen to Kate Daniels there. So I've been listening to The One and Only Ivan by Catherine Applegate. She's the author of Wish Tree, which I read and talked about before and really liked. She's really, really good at picking protagonists for books that are unexpected and have an unexpected point of view. So, for example, in Wish Tree, it's about a neighborhood, and a Muslim family has moved into the neighborhood, and there's some hate crimes that are occurring. But the whole thing is from a tree's point of view. And the tree is a wish tree where people have tied their wishes to it for long periods of time and has evolved with this neighborhood as it's changed, and someone carves into the tree very hateful speech. And so then the neighborhood's like, we should take the tree down because it's just going to be a reminder of this hate. But it's the wish tree, and it also impacts the animals that live in the tree. So it's really an interesting point of view of what's happening.
Yeah.
And The One and Only Ivan, it's based very loosely on a true story. There was a mall in, I believe it's Georgia, that had a zoo within it. Not a very reputable zoo, but a zoo and arcade, and it starts out, Ivan is the gorilla in the zoo, and it's all told from his point of view. And if you're looking for something to talk about point of view and word choice, and how characters' word choice kind of draws you in, it's a great book for that. But he talks about, one of the other animals dying because people were throwing pennies in, and it kept eating the pennies. And just that impacts, but also an outsider's point of view on these humans and the mall and consumerism and just being trapped. So it's really, really, it's a quick read too, and they're making it into a movie. But John Shu, who's he's a famous librarian, he works for Scholastic now. He's got a part in the book, so he always book talks it when he goes places, and I had never read it, so I decided to pick it up. I think it was on an Audible sale for $2.99 one day, so I picked it up. I think it's a total of 3 to 4 hours, so I'm almost, I would say, halfway through. It's hard for me to listen to audiobooks at work, just even though I might be like sitting and doing something when I don't have kids for those 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Other kids are getting sent, so it's like constant interruptions, which isn't terrible. And it's good for them to see me listening to a book too, because I feel like there's this stigma attached to audiobooks that it's not real reading, which is totally untrue. So I want them to see adults doing things and seeing that it's acceptable as well. Anyway, so I'm listening to The One and Only Advent by Catherine Applegate, who also wrote in the 90s those terrible Animorphs books.
Oh, I remember those.
So every time I see her, I think Animorphs, which I never read. But
then how do you know they were terrible? Are you judgy?
I'm judging by... Maybe I did pick one up once, but I'm definitely judging by the plot and the cover on that case.
Says the person who reads paranormal, male.
Well, you know. It is what it is.
I'm not throwing stones. I'm just saying.
Today so there's an Instagram, there's 2 Instagram hashtags going on right now. One is Fiberary, which is really cool. And then the other one is the one that Ravelry does.
Mm-hmm. Yarn Love or something.
Yeah, something like that. And so I've been like flipping through them as like deciding which one I'm going to post. Because I get to choose, because they're 2 awesome things. And today's for February was podcasts. So I put up like 4 podcasts that I listened to, 3 of which are like educational, and then my dad wrote a porno. And then I was like, should I put that up?
Yes.
And then I was like, yes, obviously I should.
I've never recommended it to someone who came back later and was like, I cannot believe you listened to that.
Because if they are thrown off by the word porno, then they're probably not going to listen to it to begin with.
It's hilarious.
It's crying, laughing, pee your pants funny.
Yeah. And if they ever come anywhere within 500 miles of where I live, they're all English. And they tour, but they haven't toured.
Memphis is not on there to stay at list.
But yeah, Sarah D and I agree that if they ever came anywhere near either one of us,
oh yeah,
we were going.
I will be right there with you. I think that would be a fun night.
Yeah.
You have some weaving.
I do. So part of the reason that I haven't got as much progress on my knitting as I would like is that I've been weaving. I mentioned before I got a wolf pup. And that's from Shocked. It is a 4-treadle or 4-shaft.
So my mom's gonna be here all day Wednesday while I'm working. She should come over to your house and just warp your loom for you.
That's mean. I wouldn't make her do that.
I'm making her replace a toilet, so...
Anyway, so I wanted to start a simple project on it. So I ordered a couple of kits from... Halcyon Yarn, and I'll link them in the show notes, and they're just for simple like kitchen towels. I didn't realize that I took all of my bobbins that fit my boat shuttle over to Laura's.
Oh yeah, you did, and I'm using them all,
and that's fine. I have no problem.
I
mean, they're like $10 for a dozen or something. Yeah. They're very reasonable.
So we need to order something else from Shocked, anyways. Yeah. So we'll just order some more bobbins. I also need a small boat shuttle, like a very small.
They don't come any smaller than 11 inches.
But are they flatter than like... Cause, okay, so I have that rigid heddle, right. And I do want to weave the warp that's on there.
That's been on there for at least 6 months.
So judgy. I had to spin the hand spun to go on there.
Sure, okay.
So I need to put that hand spun on, and I want to use boat shuttles. Mm-hmm. But I feel like the one that I have is too big.
Probably not. I mean, the shed that you create will be big enough. But I can bring over what I've got, and you can try them out and see.
I won't give you any bobbins because I'm using them for a project. Sorry.
So,
but I've been using them for 3 years. No, like
it's okay. I didn't think, if I had thought about it, I would have asked her to bring over a couple, but I didn't think about it.
Yeah.
And so I had already started, and the warp is several colors, and the weft, the part that you're weaving back and forth, It's also supposed to be several colors.
but that didn't happen.
I had enough white that I just did it all in white.
I think that sounds amazing. I want to
so
see.
This is what it looks like.
Oh, see, I like that.
I wound like a 4.5 yard warp. The pattern called for slightly less, but it also expected a wider loom, and mine is 18 inches, so I had to do some math, sketchy math.
So this was on the Wolf Pup, though.
This was on the Wolf Pup.
It's only 18 inches?
Yeah, 18 inches wide. That's how, actually it's slightly less than that, but, like wide, yes. But it's it's like 4.5 yards almost in length. And
I wouldn't want towels thicker than that anyways. Aren't these for towels?
Yeah, it's for towels. And I just did a single strand for the warp. Or, I'm sorry, for the weft. And so what I'll do is I'll measure out how many, or I'll measure out the length once
and then divide.
And then do division, yeah. Leaving like an inch for hemming and cutting between the two. But,
cool.
yeah, I'm happy with it. I got into a rhythm finally, so I was able to go pretty quick once I figured out, like, what to do. And the Wolf Pup LT, which is the one that I got, allows for multiple tie-ups on the treadles, so, like, it's very complicated to explain because I don't fully understand it yet, but it allows some flexibility, so instead of my knees being, like, crammed together to do 1 and 3 and 2 and 4, I can, like, spread them out a little bit.
Oh, cool.
So, anyway.
It's exciting.
Yeah, I'm happy with it. I did have a couple people send me some really good advice, and one lady actually sent me information on a sectional beam, which is something I'll add to my someday list. Because when I warped this, I warped each color, and I used a warping board, and I measured out how many yards I needed.
Isn't that called, like, ends per inch in weaving? Okay.
There's
Look,
ends per inch.
I'm learning something.
And
like
there's
a new
picks
language.
per inch as well.
Ooh, I don't know that one. What's that one?
And I don't friggin' know.
You brought it up, so I assumed you had.
Anyway, to warp regularly, you only need like 1 cone of each color to assuming it has enough yardage. But to do a sectional beam, let's say each section is like 1 inch long, and you have 20 threads that are going in that, like it holds 20 to the inch. That's your, like, points per inch or ends per inch or whatever. You need 20 individual sources to wind it on. Once you get it wound, it's a heck of a lot faster, though. So it'll go on my someday list, but right now I don't have enough, like, base yarn to do that. And I don't want to invest $1,000 into yarn at this point. Well, I'm just guessing.
Oh.
You know.
How much is the sectional beam?
I don't know. It's reasonable, I'm sure. It's a shock product, so.
They're usually very reasonable.
Yeah. Anyway.
That's pretty weaving, my friend.
I'm happy with it. I'm going to...
Have you washed it already?
No. Okay. I just took it off the loom. So I have to, like, sew down the edges so that the threads don't come out before... And I'll probably cut them as well before I wash them. But I'm happy with it. It came out well. And Knitpicks had a clearance on their chroma lace. So I bought, like, 4 of several colors, because I can warp a very simple plain weave on those, and they'll be good gifts, and it won't take very long to do. So
go Knitpicks.
Yeah.
I'm all about some inexpensive.
So that's my weaving.
Cool yarn.
Did we draw for the Patreon? No, I haven't gotten the Patreon thing yet.
For this month.
For February.
We're not drawing anymore.
For January. For February.
We don't have any drawings.
Oh, that's right.
We're done.
Oh my gosh. That is a fact. I have to create the newsletter that we're doing. We brainstormed ideas on Friday, but
we used my llama notepad in the car. It's very fancy.
But I had to get all of our stuff together for our tax guy today. Well, over the past few days. And that was fun.
And that's why Leslie's drinking.
That's part of it. Also, we're getting a fence put in, and you would think over the course of several days and just today, 6 hours of the same guys being in the backyard, like, you know, hanging the rails and everything for the fence, that at some point my dog would be like, Okay, my people aren't freaking out, so maybe I can just chill.
These people have been here for 6 hours. It's safe.
So today, 6 hours of her barking. Buffy is who I'm talking about. Neelix will bark for a minute and then he'll go up and see Michael. But 6 hours of her barking. And finally I stuffed her into our bedroom, and then my husband got mad at me for stuffing her in our bedroom.
Which is like 800 square feet.
She's got huge. A bed. There's our bed. Like, she's not being punished.
She's
going into a room with no windows.
Bathroom.
Yeah. But so that, plus I had to watch an on-call phone for somebody, and trying to host a meeting while my dogs are barking. Super professional. So yeah, bottoms up. What else? Oh, Madrona is in a week.
Madrona is in a week, and I'm super excited about that. They announced their vendors a couple weeks ago. Mm-hmm. So there's several that I want to see in person and that we've never seen in person before. So that'll be lots of fun. And we're taking an all-day class from Clemis and Clemis.
On drum carding, which is good because I was just thinking that I was going to start spinning one of my fleeces, but I thought I'm going to wait.
Yeah.
And see what they talk about in this class, because I'm sure they'll address fleeces at some point.
I would think so.
So I'm going to wait and see.
I'm bringing an empty suitcase just for
the two of our combined
bats going back. Yeah, so that's exciting too. I'm not taking my backpack with me.
Really?
I'm not, because I'll put all my clothes in my
other backpack.
My clothing backpack. I have like e-bags backpack.
She got it specifically for clothing when she travels.
Yeah. Or the other thing that goes in there is samples for when I teach. All my samples and all my stuff for classes go in there, because if my clothes get lost,
those are more easily replaced.
I can still teach.
Yeah.
But if my samples go missing, that's a little bit more hardcore.
Yeah.
I am teaching. That's something to bring up. I'm teaching at Steve and Andy's
that's right.
retreat in September of next year.
Knitting at the estate. It's not next year, it's this year.
Well, oh yeah. It is now. It's 2019, y'all. So it's in September, and I'm super excited about that. So I hope to see some of you there. And Leslie's going too.
I am.
She got in through the lottery.
I did.
So we're going to make her share a room with a stranger. Super fun for her.
I paid my deposit, so I'm all good.
Oh, good.
And so Laura will be teaching there with Gail Zucker.
And I don't know what I'm teaching yet. They haven't selected. And I probably need to work on some new classes, because I haven't updated some classes in a bit. So I'll do that as well. Add some new stuff to my repertoire of teaching, because I've learned things over the last couple of years. Sure? I hope I've learned stuff over the last couple of years. Be in trouble if I hadn't learned anything. That's going on. We do have a giveaway for people who were affected by the government shutdown.
Yeah,
and furlough.
A second to...
So Leslie's gonna finish her. I like waiting until she's in the lay section. And
well, it's just that I forgot that I had to purl this stitch. It changes to purls on this row, and I forgot. And I just need to make sure that I correct that before I go past it. So you all have to suffer with me.
Oh, I forgot to tuck that in right there. And that's too long of a stretch.
Yeah, you have to leave a loop. Alright, so...
I like having lots and lots of ends. This is not the first time that I've forgotten to carry something up the side.
Let me pull up Ravelry first. Alright, so let's add window capture. And edit this. We're gonna go here. Alright, so...
Will you click on the Knit Girls?
I'm going to. I gotta go back over here. Government shutdown giveaway.
Yep.
Number 1.
So we're gonna give away all 6 prizes now, because there might be another government shutdown, unfortunately, in a couple weeks. So we'll add more to the prize pool at that point and do another giveaway. But rather than draw it out,
yeah. So what I'm gonna do actually is I'm gonna leave you on screen so that you can show.
Hey, I'm gonna drink some Snapple right now.
The prizes as we go. So,
we're gonna...
Random.org. You guys can see me pull the numbers here.
Oh, awesome. So the first thing we're gonna pull for is this Miss Babs gradient set. There we go. Okay, it needs to be in my left hand's the good hand, y'all. And this is a Miss Babs gradient set. It's her Yummy 2-plies base in the Perseus colorway. I got this to do a cowl by Jen, who works for Miss Babs. I actually linked that pattern in the giveaway thread. It's 798 yards. And it's a blue gradient that goes from Attic all the way up to Dark Perseus.
Alright, so the winner for that one is going to be 7. So let's go back and take a look at who is number 7. And that is Squiggle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to make a note, Squiggle. And you won the Miss Babs set. For anyone who wins a prize, please email me, youdon'tcallmeless@gmail.com. Tell me what you won and your physical address, and I will send this off to you. Prize number 2.
Prize number 2 is a We're Different colorway. Oop, there we go. Of Volmiza. It is on the nylon base, so it's a wool nylon blend. This requires math. 311 meters plus another 150.
It's 510 yards.
Look, that's in parentheses.
Just saying. So this is going to go to number 14 on our list, and 14 is Swell Knitter.
Oh, cool.
So
She's
Swell
the last
Knitter, we're going to make a note here. You won the Volmiza twin in the pinky black color. Alright, and our next prize?
This is another Crafty Girl yarn in the Sax Solo colorway. This is her Strong Sport. This is a newer base for her. So make some great socks.
Super pretty. Going to number 2. And number 2 is... I'll hand you this stuff in a second.
You're fine.
Number 2 is Lizard Babies.
I love that picture of her.
Alright, Lizard Babies. You won the Another Crafty Girl Sport.
Sax Solo.
Alright.
S-A-X.
Oh, sax, like saxophone.
It's named after a Muppet character.
Okay.
Zoot, I think. Right, and then Leslie went through her stash and picked out some prizes. The first is a Swell Yarn Shop Skinny. It's the exclusive Lucky Lurker colorway.
And it's got a little mini skein for heels and toes. It's
Yep.
one of those ones I've been
purples.
saving and decided it should go to someone else. So this is for number 13. Number 13 is...
This is
Becca
pretty.
Rex. So Becca Rex. It's going to be Swell Shop Duo. And our next prize.
This is some Space Cadet Creations in their Merino Cashmere Nylon Blend in the Aurora colorway.
Yes. So pretty.
It has some black to it.
And that one's going to number 10. Number 10 is AF Eskimo. Ooh, that's pretty.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
That's what she did out of the Perseus kit.
Oh, well, good. She's
Or one
not
of
winning
her
another
small,
one.
Yeah.
All right, so that one is going to be the Space Cadet. Congratulations. And our last number is 5.
Yep, and this is a Socks That Rock Lightweight.
This is Titania. It was designed for that Cookie A pattern that I saw and decided I must have, and then reality hit. So, this is for Silver Spring Wanderer. So, Silver Spring Wanderer, Socks That Rock. For anyone who won a prize, again, the way that you claim that prize is to email me, youdon'tcallmeless@gmail.com. Tell me which prize you won and your physical address, and I will get that shipped off. for anyone who didn't win
a physical prize, Leslie and I were talking before the show, and we want to gift you guys a pattern.
Yeah.
So pick out a giftable pattern on Ravelry, and we will go ahead and gift that to you.
Yep.
So just send us an email.
You can call me Les@gmail.com.
Yeah, or
it's
you
just
can send me
goes
a PM at Lala.
Yeah, either one.
And, but send her if you won a physical prize, because I don't do the mailing aspects.
But I can also gift you a pattern as well.
Yes. Leslie can gift patterns.
Whichever.
She's just not on Ravelry PMs.
Yeah. By the way, totally cleared all my PMs. I went through and deleted every PM I ever had.
I see that you don't have 18,000 there anymore.
761.
And that was before you cut it off, a year ago.
It was a year plus. Yeah, it was 2017 at some point that I cut it off, yeah.
Good for you. Look at that.
Digital bankruptcy. Just couldn't do it. So, it's possible that I have a tiny buzz going.
It's been a long day for you, friend.
It has. So we did the government furlough giveaway. Again, if you were entered in that thread and you didn't win a prize, then just contact me or Laura, and we'll gift you a pattern.
Just let us know what you want.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be a Ravelry giftable pattern.
Yeah, and let's put a reasonable limit of $10 on the pattern.
And then we're not doing Patreon
Madrona
giveaway anymore. We will be at Madrona. If you see us, please come say hi.
We will have fancy purple pens.
No way! They're purple? Oh, that's exciting. Leslie ordered stuff, so that's exciting too. And then we're not doing the Stripey Socks yarn.
Yeah,
we did
done.
that last week, so
I didn't complete a single pair for the whole year.
I did one, I think.
That was in the month.
I didn't do any in the... Well, I think I did one in the month.
I started one in the month, but I didn't finish it.
You didn't knit much. Did you knit a single pair of socks last year?
Yeah, I knit the ones that I need to give your mom still.
So you knit one pair of socks last year?
I think so.
That's not terrible.
That's why we need a sock machine.
Well, I don't know about that, but...
This is why we need a personal sock knitter apprentice.
I don't know about that either.
She's killing all my dreams today.
Hopes and dreams killer right here. We do have the discussion on Ravelry about race and knitting linked. Feel free to do that and click through there and read and educate yourself.
I found a great resource in Layla Saeed, who
the white supremacy,
the author of Me and White Supremacy workbook. She also has a Patreon page.
Yes.
So I encourage you, if that's something that you're interested in supporting.
Or if you're clicking through the book, please pay people for their resource.
Yeah.
The resources that they develop, because that takes time.
Yeah.
For sure.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
I might get you home before 7:30.
I might be reading in bed for the rest of the night eating Cadbury eggs.
Yeah, I think I'm going to save some baby dragons, and that's going to be my night, so...
I'll probably knit some, too. I need to catch up on this a little bit.
Good for you. You guys have a lovely week, and we will talk to you again before Madrona.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.